The Royal Academy presenting Tnpsc Group 1 for DO 2023. Preliminary exam, Unit 1 General Science, it is Part 4. Now we are going to see mechanics, properties of matter, force, motion and energy, everyday applications of the basic principles of mechanics, electricity and magnetism, light, sound, heat, nuclear physics, laser, electronics and communications. Mechanics, properties of matter, force, motion and energy. Let us see. Any characteristics that can be measured, such as an object's density, color, mass, volume, length, malleability, melting point, hardness, odor, temperature and more are considered properties of matter. Number 2. Physical properties of matter. Matter is made up of tiny particles called atoms and can be represented or explained as something that takes up space. It must display both the mass and volume properties. Properties are the characteristics that enable us to differentiate one material from another. A physical property is an attribute of matter that is independent of its chemical composition. Density, color, hardness, melting and boiling points and electrical conductivity are all examples of physical properties. Any characteristics that can be measured, such as an object density, color, mass, volume, length, malleability, melting point, hardness, odor, temperature and more are considered properties of matter. What are the four types of matter? What are the four properties of matter? Mass, weight, length and volume are examples of the extensive properties that differ from the sum of the material. Color, melting point, boiling point, electrical conductivity and physical condition at a given temperature are examples of intensive properties that are independent of the volume of the material. Intensive and extensive properties of matter. Intensive properties of matter. An intensive property is a bulk property, which means it's a system's local physical property, that is independent of the system's size or volume of material. What is extensive? Extensive property of matter is a property that is dependent on the amount of matter in a simple sample is known as an extensive property. Extensive properties include mass and volume. Let us see in this picture. In this picture, it is clearly given that intrinsic and extrinsic properties of matter. See, first four what is given here are the intrinsic property. What are those? Mass, boiling point, ductility and hardness. And these four are coming under extrinsic property. What are those? Speed, weight, volume and pressure are called extrinsic property. Chemical properties of matter. Chemical properties are characteristics that can only be measured or observed as matter transforms into a particular type of matter. Reactivity, flammability, and the ability to rust are among them. The tendency of matter to react chemically with other substances is known as reactivity. Flammability, toxicity, acidity, the reactivity of various types and heat of combustion are examples of chemical properties. Number 1. Reactivity. The tendency of matter to combine chemically with other substances is known as reactivity. This is, for example, chemical reactions. Okay, certain materials are highly reactive, whereas others are extremely inactive. Potassium, for example, is extremely reactive even in the presence of water. A pea-sized piece of potassium reacts explosively when combined with a small volume of water. This everybody have seen in the lab. Okay, this is called as reactivity. Flammability. The tendency of matter to burn is referred as flammability. As matter burns, it reacts with oxygen and transforms into various substances. A flammable matter is anything like wood. Toxicity. Toxicity refers to the extent to which a chemical element or a combination of chemicals may harm an organism. Acidity. A substance's ability to react with an acid is a chemical property. Some metals form compounds when they react with the different acids. Acids react with bases to create water, which neutralizes the acid. Next one, mechanics. Mechanics is a branch of physics dealing with the study of motion when subjected to force or displacement and the subsequent effect of the bodies on their environment. There are two sub-disciplines, classical fields and quantum fields. Force. According to the universal law of gravitation, every object in this universe exerts a force on others. The force acting on an object is given by the following parameter. SI unit of force is Newton or kg/m bar S2. Symbol of force F. Type of quantity, vector quantity. Dimensional formula M1L1 T2 T raised to 2. Other units, giant, pound, force, kilopound, poundal, hip. Hip in the sense a unit of hip is equal to 1000 pounds, that is 453.6 kilograms. Motion. Motion is a change in the position of a body with respect to time. Ninth point, Sir Isaac Newton was the first person to discover the relation between motion and force. Energy and force differ from each other. Energy is the ability to run or active things, while force is a process of transporting energy. A closed system, energy and mass are conserved, but there is no such conservation for force. Force is a vector quantity having the direction of applying, while energy is a scalar quantity. Keep in mind, force is a vector quantity having the direction of applying, while the energy is a scalar quantity. 11th point, classical electromagnetism is summarized by the laws of action of electric and magnetic fields upon electric charges and upon magnets, and by four remarkable equations formulated in the later part of the 19th century by the Scottish physicist James Clerk Maxwell. 12th one, the modern quantum theory, electromagnetic radiation is the flow of photons, also called light quanta, through space. 13th point is, photons are packed of energy hv that always move with the universal speed of light. The symbol h is Planck's constant, while the value of B is the same as that of the frequency of the electromagnetic wave of classical theory. 14th one, gravity is a dash value. Gravity is a vector value. 15th one, distance bar time. It is speed. Distance bar time is speed. The amount of matter in an object is dash. It is mass. The amount of matter in an object is mass. Next one, see 17th point. Which of Newton's law explains why satellites need very less fuel to stay in orbit? It is Newton's first law. What is the unit of measurement used in physics for force? It is Newton. Which Newton's law helped to define inertia? Newton's first law. Next one, 20th one. The formula related to Newton's second law of motion is F is equal to ma. Hubble is dash, a space telescope. Hubble is a space telescope. Ball pen works on the principle of capillarity and surface tension. Gas law was given by Boyle. Next one. Boyle's law states relationship between pressure and volume. Boyle's law states relationship between pressure and volume. Newton's law of gravitation is universal. Force equal to mass into acceleration is got from Newton's second law. Force is equal to mass into acceleration is got from Newton's second law. A simple machine makes the work easier with less force. If the flotation of ship changes when it moves from Arabic Sea to Indian Ocean due to dash, changes in density of water. The flotation of ship changes when it moves from Arabic Sea to Indian Ocean due to dash. The answer is changes in density of water. A swimmer finds it easy to swim in sea water than in plain water. Why? Seawater has higher density than the plain water. So, a swimmer finds it easy to swim in seawater than in plain water. The blood circulation in muscle is due to capillary action. The density of mercury is dash times denser than water. It is 13.6 times denser than water. Density of matter is defined as dash. It is mass by volume. In India, Apsara is connected with the dash. It is nuclear reactor. In India, Apsara is connected with nuclear reactor. Now, excited atom gives rise to dash. It is line spectrum. Line spectrum. Excited atom gives rise to line spectrum. In an atom, the filling up of orbit is governed by dash. It is Afu principles. Afu principles. 36th point, the difference between nuclear reactor and an atomic bomb is dash. The chain reaction in nuclear reactor is controlled. The difference between nuclear reactor and an atomic bomb is the chain reaction in nuclear reactor is controlled. Now, the alpha particles carries two positive charges. Its mass is very nearly equal to that of an atom of helium. Which one? The alpha particle carries two positive charges. Its mass is very nearly equal to that of an atom of helium. Next one. Alpha rays are positively charged particles. Alpha rays are positively charged particles. Electron was discovered by J.J. Thomson. Proton carries a positive charge. The radioisotopes used for locating brain tumor is iodine. Hydrogen bomb involves the principles of nuclear fusion. Which is the name of the nuclear reactor at Bombay? It is BARC, BARC. Which element is essential for the construction of a nuclear reactor? It is zirconium. Which element is essential for the construction of nuclear reactor? It is zirconium. Next one. Non-conventional energy best suited for India. It is solar energy. Sound energy is converted into electrical energy by microphone. A velocity ratio of screw jack is dash. It is 2 pi L by P. The maximum displacement of a vibrating body from its mean position is called dash. It is amplitude. Dash speed is the speed of an object that exceeds the speed of sound for an object traveling in dry air of a temperature of 20 degrees centigrade. It is supersonic. So supersonic speed is the speed of an object that exceeds the speed of sound. The velocity of a body is the rate of the change of position in a definite direction. So thanks for watching this class and share this video to whom preparing for competitive exams and subscribe this channel. Thank you. Thank you so much.